welcome to Scarlet and May Show. We're back. It was a bye week, not much happening, so we're jumping right into the standings between our picks.
Yes, sir. I went 3-3 this week, but I won game of the week, so really kind of 4-3.
Yeah.
Bumped me up to 56-14 overall. You were 3-3 this week, 53-16 overall. So I still got wins, still got percentage.
This was like the worst week of the season for us.
Yeah, it was.
We shouldn't pick the spread, and we should not be sports bettors.
Yeah, that is accurate.
Yeah.
Big Ten players of the week. We're just going to jump right in. Jump into that. But David Bell from Purdue, 11 receptions, 240 yards, 1 touchdown in a blowout win at Iowa. Any problems there?
No,
I don't have any.
I mean, wow, like they're supposed to be the best pass defense. I mean, they at least turnover wise, they get a lot of interceptions.
Someone, I don't remember who, somebody said, I wonder what would happen if Iowa played someone who didn't turn it over. Oh,
Yeah.
that was me.
Yeah, that was you.
I also said that they would lose to someone in the regular season. I didn't think it was going to be Purdue. But.
Right. Well, and it's crazy. I mean, Purdue, they're right up there at the top of the Big Ten West.
Yeah.
Right?
Now the Big Ten West just looks even more terrible.
Yeah.
Gosh. Defensive Player of the Week, Cam Allen, also from Purdue, 2 picks.
Both in the fourth quarter.
Both in the fourth quarter. Something about Spencer Petras is not good.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
No problems there either?
No problems there. Yeah, you can't.
When Penn State, Ohio State, and Michigan all don't play,
Right.
it kind of limits what
I mean,
we care about.
Arguably, after this game, the 3 best teams in the conference.
Arguably. Big Ten takeaways, Zach. I'll let you go first.
Okay, I follow a lot of Michigan fans, a lot of Michigan State fans on Twitter, and man, am I excited for October 30th. There is just so much crap talk going on Twitter, and has been for a while, and I just love that it's building up. Michigan better get it done this weekend, so they're both 7-0 going to that game, and it's going to be so much fun. My other Big Ten takeaway is, why do Michigan State fans hate Big Noon kickoff? Like, I don't get that. Like, obviously,
they probably think it's disrespectful.
Which it's not.
For some reason.
Like, I love when Ohio State's on Big Noon kickoff and then is on Fox. I love Joel Klatt and Gus Johnson. They're the best commentators in college football. And the show beforehand, the Big Noon kickoff show, is superior to College Game Day. I just don't understand being mad about that. Like, maybe it's a noon game, but there's nothing wrong with the noon game. It's Saturday.
No.
Ohio State and Michigan always play on noon.
If I could have every Michigan game be at noon, I would. When I lived in Iowa, Central Standard Zone, right? Like,
yeah.
I loved games being at 11. I want to get the game. I don't want to sit around.
Well, I think the Michigan State fans probably want it to be a night game because then they have less time to be sad before they go to bed when they lose.
I'm not going to comment
I'm kidding.
on that yet.
I'm not making a prediction about that game yet. I don't know who I'm going to take.
Yeah.
We'll have to maybe see how Michigan fares against Northwestern for that. But maybe the West. I had said the West is Iowa and the rest, but
maybe it's
I
just
think
the
it's
rest.
not. I mean, Minnesota controls their own destiny because they only have 1 loss to Ohio State and they beat Purdue, so they have the head-to-head there. Then they'd beat Iowa, would give Iowa another loss. Purdue might actually be good. I put a question mark there. Like, what? They're 4-2 and they're ranked for the first time since 2007. That's insane. One thing that I love that's hilarious is Ohio State finally let another Big Ten team get Freshman of the Week.
All it took was them not playing.
Yep, that's all it took. Okay, so this is one thing that I've seen on Twitter a lot in Ohio State atmosphere is people are wondering if Brian Hartline / Ohio State will take heat for letting Jamison Williams go because he's balling out at Alabama. But here are some stats on Jamison Williams.
Okay.
He has 27 receptions, 510 yards, 18.9 yards per catch, and 5 touchdowns. Solid stats. But here is Jackson Smith-Njigba, or wide receiver 3 at Ohio State.
Okay.
He has 23 receptions, just 4 less, 452 yards, just about 50 less, 19.7 yards per catch, more than Jamison Williams, and only 2 less touchdowns with 3.
Man, as the third receiver.
Yep.
Yeah.
And Garrett Wilson and Chris Olave all have higher numbers than that and all those.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe not yards per catch, but they have more
Right.
catches, more yards, more touchdowns. But
Crazy.
yeah.
That's all you got?
And I love Jamison Williams. It was really sad to see him go. He caught that awesome bomb, one of my favorite touchdowns in Ohio State history against Clemson last year. Just Yeah. But I think, he's balling out, and he should ball out, but I don't think that Ohio State or Brian Hartline should get crap for it, for letting him walk.
That's fair.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, he might be good. They also didn't need him. Who cares?
Yeah.
It's not like they don't have good guys coming in.
Right. Which, yeah.
Yeah. So I only have one Big Ten takeaway, but we're going to be here a while. Buckle in. Get comfortable, Zach. I want to start out by saying I am buying more into Michigan State than I have in a while. Okay?
Yeah.
So right off the bat, I want to be clear. I am buying into Michigan State more than I have in a while.
Since what, 2015? That was when they
About
made the playoffs.
then, yeah.
That was when
I
they
mean,
made
that's
the
when-
playoffs, right? 2015?
Right, and they didn't score? Yeah.
Yeah.
Which, like, they made the playoff. Great. Huzzah. Didn't score. Fantastic.
Yeah.
Let's move that aside. I'm buying in now more than I have in a long time. Okay. I have had a few conversations since Saturday that I didn't even start about how good Michigan State is and about the home runnedness hire of Mel Tucker. Again, I think Michigan State is legitimately good this season.
Yeah.
Okay. Is Mel Tucker?
But
what?
saying they're legitimately good doesn't necessarily mean they're contenders for even the Big Ten.
No.
Because
I mean, when Ohio State stands in the way, and
Yeah.
whatever. But whatever. Yeah. Is Mel Tucker a home run hire for Michigan State? Here's what I think. If home run is beating awful teams, then sure. I'm not saying he's not a home run hire. I'm just saying that at this point, he's maybe rounding second. Like maybe rounding second at this point. He hit on some transfers. He beat some bad teams. Team recruiting rankings are the same as they were under D'Antonio. Sorry, Zach. And we'll see how he does the next few weeks. That's my thing, is like, let's see how he does the next few weeks.
And I think he's Jim Harbaugh at this point.
Is he?
We
could go
he beat
through.
Michigan State. He beat Michigan last year,
He
and
did.
he's beat everybody he's supposed to beat.
What?
Sounds like Harbaugh. Harbaugh's beat Michigan State a few times. And
I'd say the difference is Harbaugh's beaten teams that ended the year with a winning record,
yeah,
which I don't think he has yet. Maybe last. I don't remember
we
who
have to
their
double
second
check on
win
last
was.
year, but no one they played this year has a winning record.
Correct. If he beats Michigan, if he beats Penn State, we could circle back to this conversation, and he wouldn't even have proved me wrong, because I'm not saying he's bad.
Right.
I'm saying the jury is still out, because beating nobody means nothing.
Right.
So he's improved them from last year, but last year they would have lost to bad teams.
Well, yeah, I wouldn't say it means nothing, but it doesn't mean home run hire.
Right. My question is, how much have they improved? They have improved.
Yeah.
They're not losing to bad teams.
Right. Which
Is that exciting? Like, okay, it's improvement. Is it exciting improvement that you're beating bad teams?
they are fun to watch though.
Okay.
Other than this last week.
Yeah, they're fun to watch, winning against Indiana 20-15.
Yeah.
Whatever. My point is, jury is still out. Mel Tucker is 5-7 in his only season at Colorado. He was 2-5 last year. He's 7-0 this year, which again, obvious marked improvement. I also don't think it should be too controversial to say that there is still currently one 500 opponent that Michigan State has beaten. Rutgers lost, so they fell under 500. Northwestern moved up to exactly 500.
Yeah.
Impressive. Mel Tucker. If Mel Tucker is already a home run hire, your field has fences in the infield. Like, point blank. If this is that impressive, you gotta readjust. Are you trying to be a big boy, or are you trying to just
Right. Yeah. If Ohio State, if it was Ryan Day's first year, he's 7-0 and he's beat Michigan State's schedule so far. I'm happy.
he gets the benefit of the doubt? But if he's coming off a 2-5 season and a 5-7 season, is it that exciting?
Right. Yeah.
He's improved. How much has he improved is my question. To say it's already a home run hire, again, the fences are in the infield. But I'll tell you what, if Mel Tucker finishes the season 11-2 and wins the Sugar Bowl against a mediocre team, I'll say he's a home run hire. Even though that's exactly what Brady Hoke did in his first year, was still crapped on by State fans and almost everybody, and ended up being an obvious bad hire, because one full season is not indicative of a coach's greatness.
Right.
So this half of a season is different, though, because Mel Tucker smokes cigars and has beaten 0 teams that'll end up in a bowl game. Got it. So I'm saying this, just to be clear, feeling 50-50 about October 30th, Michigan State in East Lansing, because contrary to popular belief in East Lansing, the Paul Bunyan Trophy is not, in fact, the Vince Lombardi Trophy. It's not the Super Bowl. Neither
it's
team.
Not Ohio State, Michigan.
That is correct. It's not even that. Like, neither team has done anything this season. Neither team has beaten anyone good.
Yeah.
I'm not saying either team is good. I'm not saying either team is bad. Both could be mediocre. But Michigan State is in a constant state of requiring validation and praise, even when they're a top 10 team in the country for beating nobody, because they don't get any respect. You're a top 10 team in the country for beating nobody.
It's just
Northwestern.
It's just funny, like I saw a post on Facebook, and I commented on it, and you liked my comment, I think, and it was about Georgia and how they're not getting any respect. And I'm like, they're the unanimous #1 team in the country when that post was made.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
It's just the same situation here. Like, you're a top 10 team and you beat nobody.
I agree. And you might say, so I just said, oh, you're a top 10 team in the country for beating nobody. Who's Michigan beating? Nobody! I'm saying neither team has beaten anybody. Yeah. I'm not saying Michigan is definitively better. I'm 50-50 about October 30th.
And honestly, like, the only reason I think Ohio State is better than these two teams is because the previous years, but Michigan and Michigan State don't have that. And, like, Ohio State hasn't beaten anybody yet.
But the way that they've won, especially the last few weeks, winning by 5 points against a terrible Indiana team. Yeah. And you can say they've only lost to top 10 teams.
Well, even teams
how many were close?
Even teams that they struggled with, like Tulsa, that game was kind of close for 3/4 of it. They still won by 21 points.
Western Kentucky won by 2, right?
No, that was Indiana.
Oh, that's what yeah. But that's Michigan State struggled. Okay.
Yeah.
Transitive property doesn't apply.
Zappy threw for 488 yards, basically 500 yards on that defense. Like, what do you think C.J. Stroud's going to do?
So
I love Michigan State, and they'll always be my number 2 team. But Michigan State fans make it so hard because when they're like this, they get so arrogant. I don't know if they're being trolls or if they have such tunnel vision for their team.
I think it's years of being disrespected. I mean, little brother syndrome.
Yeah.
Like, that stings so bad for a reason. Because it's true.
Yeah. I just don't I don't get it. It's Michigan State fans make it so hard for me to root for them. I want to root for them. I've had tons of cousins that have gone to Michigan State. I've had more family that have gone to Michigan State than any other school in the country. And my mom's a Michigan State fan, and I want to root for Michigan State when they don't play Ohio State, but this might be the first time ever I root for Michigan.
Man alive.
Because of Michigan State fans. In my entire life. Never rooted for Michigan. Jury's still out on whether or not I root for them, but
you can come watch at my house if that's the case. But so the program that highlights and pins up Michigan players on their bedroom walls as September Heisman candidates, right? They can have their September Heisman coach crowned as a home run at this point. Keep it. Like, maybe he will be.
Yeah.
Who cares? At this point, hang those posters. Like, let's celebrate him. He's a September Heisman coach. Whatever. Regardless of whether they beat a team with a pulse or if they have their September Heisman running back run for 3.2 yards per carry against Nebraska and 3.7 yards per carry against an Indiana defense that allowed 5 yards per carry against Penn State, who, they're supposed to be even or a little worse than Michigan State. 4.7 yards per carry against the mighty Western Kentucky, and 4.4 yards per carry against Iowa, who has 0 passing game. Crown them both, put all the respect on all of their names. MSU is back, baby, whether or not they beat anyone.
Fun fact.
Yep.
Kenneth Walker has rushed for 9 touchdowns. Travion Henderson has rushed for 9 touchdowns. Walker has 82 more carries than Henderson.
That's disrespectful of you to say.
Hey, just stats.
It's just stats. Stats don't matter. Like, for instance, you've beaten 0 teams better than 500. You've beaten 1 team 500, and the rest of the teams, like all the teams that you've beaten, are under 500. Coach of the Year, Heisman, obvious #1 challenger to Ohio State.
I will say this. I bashed on Michigan State fans a little bit.
Yep.
most of them that I personally know, I love most of them, and it's just the ones that are trolls on Twitter that are frustrating me lately, that are annoying lately. And so, if you know me personally and you're a Michigan State fan, no disrespect.
The conversations I had weren't on Twitter. It was with people that I know.
Okay, I mean,
So-
it might be different from your perspective, but for me,
I love them.
yeah,
I love them. But like you said, Michigan State wins a few games against legitimately bad teams. No one's saying anything about Michigan State. Again, they could be good. Mel Tucker might end up being a good hire. At
Yeah.
this point, they have not beaten anybody.
I do want to say because
And they're intolerable.
Most Michigan State fans don't. I don't think they'll win a national championship this year. But I think there are a select few that think that they're national championship contenders. I don't know if they're being serious, if they're being trolls, like I said. But
I mean,
look at this.
Peyton Thorne's looked good against nobody. Kenneth Walker looked good against nobody most of the time.
Look, I think at this point I would say I could see them beating anybody in the country, but there's a lot of teams that can do that at this point.
Mm-hmm.
The only thing is, can they do it 5 games in a row? Because at this point, they're scheduled. They have Ohio State, top 10 team, their 11th game of the season. Then Penn State, top 10 team. Then they've got the Big Ten championship, whether that's Iowa, who was the top 2 team at one point, or it's anyone else. It's still a tough game either way. Then you're in the playoffs, and you've got a top 4 team and a top 4 team. That's 5 games in a row that are huge. And not talking about the Michigan game, or I don't know if they play Purdue outside of that, but
Here's my
other
thing.
ranked teams.
So they've got Michigan, Penn State, Ohio State. I don't know if Penn State and Ohio State are in that order. I forgot. Doesn't matter. They have 3 top 10 games, right?
Mm-hmm.
Do you think it's more likely that they go 2-1 or 0-3?
I think it's more likely they go 0-3 than 2-1.
I mean, I agree.
Yeah.
That's disrespectful. Transitioning from the turd pile known as East Lansing to the rapid fire turd pile.
Yeah, I love
picks.
East Lansing. I love East Lansing.
Well, I don't. Illinois at Penn State. I got Penn State.
Yeah, I mean, Illinois is bad. Penn State's pretty good. I got Penn State.
Wisconsin at the resurgent Purdue. I took Wisconsin.
Yeah, I mean, Purdue, it's ridiculous. They've won 9 games against AP top 2 teams as an unranked team. No team has more than 4.
2 in a row.
Yeah, it's insane. Like, what in the world are they doing in Purdue when they play top 2?
So they've won 2 in a row against top 2 teams. The last one,
Yeah, I know.
2018 Ohio State.
Yeah.
I loved it. Was seeing that on the screen.
But now they are ranked in. They have the eyes on them. They've got all the attention in the country after putting everybody on notice. They're playing a solid team in Wisconsin. Wisconsin has the 2nd best defense in the country and a top 10 pass defense. I like the Badgers here in an upset. I mean, I wouldn't. If you would have told me that I would be picking Wisconsin as an upset against
Right.
Purdue at the season, I'd have been like, because we both had Wisconsin win the West.
Yeah.
Which they realistically still could with how bad the West looks now.
Is there a team in the West that statistically could not? Does
I don't
every
know.
team in the West?
Nebraska's
hold-
1-4, aren't they in the
Yeah,
West?
yeah.
I don't know.
Other than Nebraska, does every team
The
hold
be-
their own destiny
the best. What are they? 3-5 team in the.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
How think that can't be right. This would be 2-5.
I mean, they're the best whatever team in the country, and
Yeah.
Scott Frost is amazing.
Yeah, they all 5 of their losses are by 1 touchdown or less. It's amazing. I heard someone say they said they could play the Kansas City Chiefs or they could play UConn, this NFL team, or they could play the worst team in FBS and they'd lose by a touchdown to both
Yeah.
teams.
I
That's
forgot the
hilarious.
stat. The statistic about Scott Frost in 1-score games at Nebraska
Yeah,
is insane.
I think it's like 5-17 at this point.
I think
Last I
it's a
saw it
little
was
worse.
I think it was like 5-15, but that was before the last 2 games that they lost by 1 score.
It's rough.
Yeah,
Anyways, on to the varsity games.
yeah,
Northwestern at Michigan. I'll start off. If Michigan struggles at all, like not multiple score lead at halftime, I won't be thinking nice thoughts about the next few weeks for Michigan. Same if J.J. McCarthy doesn't get some heavy playing time in this. Northwestern beat Rutgers last week. I think that says more about Rutgers collapsing
yeah.
than about Northwestern figuring anything out. They had a different quarterback last week. I don't care.
Yeah.
If Michigan struggles, then I'll be diving even more into college basketball.
Yeah.
Whatever. What do you think?
So I said Northwestern might actually not be the worst team in the Big Ten, like we said. I mean, they got to win, but they are still very bad. And I got Michigan here.
All right.
It's easy money.
Yeah. Ohio State at Indiana.
Okay, so Indiana this season, their offense has seven plays of 30 yards or more, and Travion Henderson has 8. They have 2 plays of 40 yards or more. Travion Henderson has 5. Indiana has beaten one one FBS team, not Power 5, sorry, in Western Kentucky, and they won by 2. And so, Ohio State, cakewalk. They're won by 40.
Yeah. Honestly, and I know that this is kind of a hot take, I firmly believe that Indiana's football team is decidedly worse than Ohio State's football team. So I think Ohio State will win. I think they'll win by a lot, Zach.
Yeah.
Game of the week, a.k.a. the game that looks like it's between 2 decent teams but is actually a game between 2 bad teams of the week. Maryland at Minnesota. You go first.
Both these teams are weird that they're 4-2. Like, that's kind of an impressive record for both these teams with how they've looked this year. Maryland played a cakewalk of a non-conference schedule. Minnesota lost to Bowling Green. I don't know how they have 4 wins and lost to Bowling Green, but I like Minnesota at home. I like PJ Fleck. I got him by 7.
Ooh, 7. So honestly, I feel like I could have thrown a dart to make the pick. I could easily be talked into why Maryland will win.
Yeah.
I could easily be talked into why Minnesota will win. I could easily be talked into why neither team could possibly win. I'll go with Minnesota by 4.
Yeah. Okay.
So touchdown or more, you win. 4, 5, whatever.
Yeah.
We'll figure it out.
Yeah, we'll figure it out.
Things nobody is talking about.
I'm going to bring this up every week until they change it, but Clemson is now going into week 8, has still yet to score more than 2 touchdowns against an FBS opponent in regulation. Like, that's insane. If you would have told me that at the beginning of the season. They keep winning, though. They're, 4-2?
You lost your quarterback. You lost your running back. The talent that's there.
Yeah.
This is insane.
Yeah. That's wild. They've had a top 5 class. I can't.
For a long
How many
time.
times?
Long time.
Yeah. There's no reason why their offense would be so terrible.
No. Tweet of the week. Mine's from Purdue. Oh, what?
I have another.
Oh, sorry.
You don't have anything?
No, I don't.
Okay, so my next thing is, people are talking about this, but there's something that people aren't talking about that I saw. So Tennessee, what an embarrassment. Their fans are terrible. Nobody has worse fans in college football. They were throwing stuff on the field. Lane Kiffin almost got hit with a golf ball. What?
He caught he Odell'd a water bottle.
Yeah, there's whole mustard bottles on the field. Where did you get the mustard bottle? Did they bring it into the stadium? Did they go all the way up to the concessions and bring it down and throw it down? What is going on at Tennessee? They have the worst fans. So a couple years ago, before Rutgers brought him back, Tennessee had actually hired Greg Schiano. And their fans ran him out of town before he even got a chance to coach. And the fun fact that I saw on Twitter this last weekend was Joe Burrow was actually transferring at the time and was going to go with Greg Schiano to Tennessee, and Tennessee was going to get a Heisman-winning quarterback, which who knows if he would have won it there. But Tennessee fans, man, nobody's worse than you. You guys are the worst.
I was almost my tweet of the week, but it said Tennessee is the first fan base to storm the field after they lost, and it just showed trash all over the field.
Goodness, you're on your own field,
Yeah.
Tweet
of the week. Mine's from Purdue's official account. We just beat the number 2 out of Iowa. I feel like there's no explaining that needs to go on. That's well done, Purdue.
Yeah.
Boiler up. That's good.
That's awesome. Spoiler up. Okay, so my tweet of the week is, I'm fully convinced that Cam Martinez at quarterback is at least 1 tier higher of a quarterback than Iowa QB. Cam Martinez is a defensive back for Ohio State who played quarterback in high school, and it's hilarious because he's probably not wrong.
I don't understand how Iowa doesn't have a better option than Spencer Petras.
And I think purely based on his athleticism, that would make the offense better, just to be able to run read options and open that kind of offense up. But they gotta have a better option than him.
You'd think.
Maybe they can get Rattler.
Maybe Joe Milton when he transfers again. He can run out of bounds all game long.
Yeah.
With that's the end.
Yeah.
We'll be back later this week with our first basketball episode. Kind of just a preview, waiting for basketball to start. So basketball won't be regular quite yet, but
Yeah. Get your donuts and apple cider at Quality Dairy.
that's right.